Hello, I'm Charles with the YouTube channel WILIscredia, and I was given an opportunity to watch the Japanese and Taiwanese language film titled The Curse on a screener basis with the opportunity to speak with the film's director. And what you'll experience is a voiceover of the translation of the interview I had.
In recent years, all over the world, and at least in Japan, there have been far too many instances of unrelated people excessively criticizing others on social media. Amidst this, I saw a post by an acquaintance of mine saying the social media account of a friend who was supposed to be dead was being updated as if he were still alive. And so I decided to combine these two events into a film. However, I studied Taiwanese folklore and used it as a reference for the method of casting a curse and the visual of the personification of curses. I believe that once a film is released, it belongs to the audience. So I don't mind what they think of it. However, the jealousy that swirls around social media is one of the themes of this film, and I think there are some commonalities in every country. So I would be happy if people could sense the creepiness of that. The four films you mentioned are my favorites, so they've definitely influenced me, and I think they've influenced this film as well. The familiar horror is a very important element for me in horror films that aren't about serial killers. I've always thought that social media and film don't go together well. That's because it's something far removed from the individual and not physical. However, social media has now become infinitely closer to us, to the point where it's become a physical manifestation of a person's true feelings and desires, more so than meeting them in person. At the same time, it's also fraught with the frightening prospect of being able to see the true feelings and poses of billions of people you don't know, no matter where you are, in an instant. I thought this was a film that needed to be made now. And I never considered that this theme wouldn't be conveyed, because social media has already spread all over the world, and even if you're unfamiliar with social media itself, the emotions we feel towards others are very simple. Classic theme that can be conveyed without the mediation of social media, and I thought they were universal. And in fact, this film is a Japanese-Taiwanese co-production made in both locations with Japanese and Taiwanese actors and crew. And there was absolutely no difficulty in conveying it, which strengthened my confidence. So I don't think this is something that's rooted in Japanese culture alone. However, I seem to have read somewhere that Japanese people are less likely to complain to others directly, and more likely to express their dissatisfaction and complaints on social media. In that sense, while the emotions are universal, perhaps it is precisely because I live in Japan that I felt a stronger desire to make a film on this theme. I don't generally like flashback scenes, and I try to avoid using them as much as possible. However, this time I wanted to try a variety of new things, so I created many flashback scenes in the middle of the film. I was struggling to think of how to give a different impression, but the cinematographer made some great suggestions, and I was able to create those scenes. Normally, when I write scripts, I identify with the characters, but this time I wrote the script without identifying with any of the characters at all. Many of the characters are types of people I don't like, and I was able to complete the film by pouring my anger into it. Lol. But perhaps the most personal incident was the feeling I got when I saw the slander that was flooding social media. In recent years, there's been an excessive amount of criticism on social media in Japan from complete strangers. It scares me greatly. I hope that viewers will take home the question of the jealousy and anger that lurks behind the social media we casually browse every day, and whether the people updating it are really who they say they are. And remember these things when they look at social media in their daily lives.
This film is experiencing its world premiere at this upcoming Fantastic Fest in Austin, Texas. I would advise if you have the time to check it out. Enjoy.